Medicine is meant to heal, to provide hope and relief. But history has shown us that sometimes, in the pursuit of progress, things can go terribly wrong. Today we're diving into some of the worst medications ever created. Drugs that were supposed to save lives but ended up harming millions. From seemingly harmless painkillers to weight loss miracles, these medications promised a brighter future but delivered devastation instead. We'll uncover the stories behind these drugs, the companies that made them, and the devastating impact they had on countless lives. Buckle up, because we're about to explore the dark side of the pharmaceutical industry. In the 1930s, the sulfanilamide disaster claimed over 100 lives due to toxic ingredients. The 1960s saw the thalidomide tragedy, where thousands of babies were born with severe deformities. In the 1970s, the Dalkon Shield IUD caused infections and infertility in countless women. More recently, the Vioxx scandal in the 2000s led to thousands of heart attacks and deaths. We'll also highlight key figures like Dr. Francis Kelsey, who fought to keep dangerous drugs off the market. Join us as we delve into these dark chapters of medical history and learn from the past to protect our future. Let's start with what these medications were supposed to do. From pain relief to pregnancy support, these drugs were hailed as miracles of modern science when they were first introduced. But their purpose, as we'll soon find out, didn't quite match their consequences. Take, for instance, the promise of a good night's sleep. Seems harmless enough, right? Well, that's what the makers of thalidomide were banking on. Marketed as a sedative, it was deemed so safe it was even given to pregnant women to combat morning sickness. Imagine that, a world without having to suffer through the trials and tribulations of morning sickness. Then there was the ever-present desire to lose weight. In a world obsessed with thinness, a magic pill that could melt away those extra pounds seemed like a dream come true. Enter Fen-Phen, a weight loss wonder drug that took the world by storm. People were lining up to get their hands on this supposed miracle cure, desperate to fit into society's ever-shrinking mold. These drugs offered solutions to problems that plagued millions. But as we'll soon uncover, these promises were built on a foundation of shaky science, corporate greed, and a shocking disregard for human life. The very medications that were supposed to improve lives ended up unleashing a wave of suffering. Let's rewind the clock to the 1950s, a time of post-war optimism and groundbreaking scientific advancements. This is where we meet thalidomide, a drug initially developed as a sedative, but quickly rebranded as a cure for morning sickness in pregnant women. It was marketed as a wonder drug, but behind this facade of progress, a horrifying truth was lurking. Thalidomide had a teratogenic effect, leading to severe birth defects in thousands of children. The world watched in horror as babies were born with phocomelia, a condition that resulted in shortened or absent limbs. The thalidomide tragedy serves as a chilling reminder of the importance of rigorous testing and oversight in the pharmaceutical industry. Fast forward a few decades, and we find ourselves in the 1990s, a time of grunge music, dial-up internet, and an obsession with low-fat everything. It was also the decade of the quick fix, a time when people were looking for easy solutions to complex problems. And in the realm of weight loss, Fen-Phen emerged as the ultimate shortcut. This combination drug, consisting of fenfluramine and phentermine, took the world by storm, promising effortless weight loss without the need for those pesky things like diet and exercise. Fen-Phen became a cultural phenomenon, embraced by celebrities and everyday people alike. Doctors, bombarded by pharmaceutical companies' aggressive marketing campaigns, readily wrote prescriptions, fueling the fire of this weight loss frenzy. Millions of people jumped on the Fen-Phen bandwagon, popping pills with reckless abandon. But behind the facade of success, a sinister side effect was brewing. As the popularity of Fen-Phen soared, so too did the reports of a rare but serious heart valve condition known as valvular heart disease. The link between Fen-Phen and heart valve damage became impossible to ignore, and the once celebrated weight loss miracle was quickly pulled from the market. The Fen-Phen debacle exposed the dark underbelly of the pharmaceutical industry. Now, let's talk numbers, because the scale of these medical tragedies is truly staggering. We're not talking about a few isolated incidents, we're talking about millions of lives affected, a global epidemic of pharmaceutical harm. Thalidomide, that supposed miracle cure for morning sickness, was prescribed to an estimated 10,000 pregnant women worldwide. It's estimated that over 10,000 children were born with thalidomide-related deformities, their tiny bodies bearing the brunt of a drug that was supposed to help their mothers. These children, scattered across the globe, became living reminders of a medical disaster that could have been prevented. Many of these children didn't survive infancy, succumbing to the severity of their conditions. Those who did faced a lifetime of challenges, their lives forever marked by a drug they never chose to take. Fast forward to the Fen-Phen frenzy, and the numbers become even more staggering. This weight loss wonder drug, embraced by millions desperate for a quick fix, was consumed by an estimated 6 million people in the United States alone. 6 million. That's roughly the population of El Salvador, all putting their faith in a drug that would later be linked to life-threatening heart conditions. The human toll of these medical disasters is immeasurable. Behind each number, there's a story of suffering, a family torn apart, a life forever changed. These tragedies serve as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and rigorous testing. The physical effects of these medications were impossible to ignore. The missing limbs, the damaged hearts, the tangible evidence of a system that had failed. But the true cost of these medical tragedies ran much deeper, leaving behind a legacy of pain, loss, and intergenerational trauma that continues to this day. For the children of thalidomide, life was a constant struggle. Many faced physical limitations requiring prosthetics, surgeries, and ongoing medical care. The emotional toll was equally devastating. Imagine growing up in a world that wasn't built for you, constantly reminded of your difference, facing discrimination and prejudice simply because of a drug your mother took. The psychological impact of thalidomide extended beyond the individuals directly affected. Parents grappled with guilt and sorrow, blaming themselves for a decision that had such devastating consequences. Families were torn apart, unable to cope with the emotional and financial burdens of caring for a child with severe disabilities. The legacy of Fen-Phen was equally devastating. Those who developed valvular heart disease faced a lifetime of medical complications. Many required open heart surgery, a risky and invasive procedure to repair or replace damaged valves. The financial burden of these medical conditions was immense. The emotional toll was equally devastating. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The one with deep pockets and a history of evading responsibility, the pharmaceutical industry. When it comes to these medical tragedies, it's not just about bad science or oversight. It's about a system that prioritizes profit over people. In the wake of these disasters, the lawsuits came pouring in, a tidal wave of litigation seeking justice for the millions of lives affected. Families demanded compensation for their suffering, for the medical bills, the lost wages, the emotional distress. The pharmaceutical companies responded with their usual playbook: deny, delay, and defend. They fought tooth and nail, employing armies of lawyers and PR firms to downplay their role in these tragedies. But the evidence was overwhelming. Internal documents revealed that these companies knew about the risks, that they had ignored warning signs, that they had prioritized profits over patient safety. The settlements, when they finally came, were staggering. Billions of dollars paid out to victims and their families. These tragedies serve as a stark reminder of the need for greater transparency and accountability in the pharmaceutical industry. So, where do we go from here? How do we prevent these tragedies from happening again? The answer, as with most complex issues, is not simple. It requires a multi-pronged approach, a collective effort to demand better from the systems that are supposed to protect us. First and foremost, we need to talk about regulation. The pharmaceutical industry is a powerful one, and it's time we stop treating it with kid gloves. We need stricter regulations, more rigorous testing, and independent oversight to ensure that the medications we take are safe and effective. But it's not just about government oversight. It's about corporate responsibility. Pharmaceutical companies need to prioritize patient safety over profit. They need to be transparent about the risks associated with their drugs, and they need to be held accountable when they put profits before people. And let's not forget the role of healthcare providers. Doctors need to be more discerning about the medications they prescribe, relying on evidence-based medicine rather than slick marketing campaigns. But perhaps the most important change needs to happen at the individual level. We, as consumers, need to be more informed about the medications we take. We need to demand transparency from the pharmaceutical industry and accountability from our healthcare providers. We need to learn from these tragedies, always question, always research, and always advocate for transparency in medicine. Let us never forget the lives impacted by these mistakes, and let us strive for a future where medicine heals without harm, where the mistakes of the past pave the way for a healthier and safer tomorrow. We can create a world where medical advancements are driven by compassion, where patient safety is paramount, and where the mistakes of the past are never repeated. The future may hold hope and healing, but for many survivors, the shadows of the past continue to linger. The medications that once promised relief have left a lasting impact on their lives, both physically and emotionally. Take Linda, for example. She was prescribed these medications in her early 30s, and now decades later, she still battles with heart complications and emotional scars. "Every day is a struggle," she says. "I trusted the system and it failed me." Gap 2S. And then there's Mark, who developed severe respiratory issues after years on the medication. "I feel like I've been given a life sentence," he confides. "The pain is constant, and it's a reminder of the betrayal by those who were supposed to help." Medical experts explain that the long-term effects of these medications can be severe and varied, ranging from chronic heart conditions to psychological trauma. Dr. Emily Roberts, a cardiologist, notes, "Patients who are on these medications often experience a decline in quality of life. It's crucial for the medical community to provide ongoing support and care." These personal stories and medical insights remind us that the repercussions of pharmaceutical failures extend far beyond the initial harm. The survivors carry the weight of these mistakes every day, and their voices must be heard. As we strive for a better future, we must not only learn from the past, but also support those who continue to suffer. Their resilience and courage are a testament to the human spirit, and their experiences should guide our path towards a safer and more compassionate healthcare system. Hello. As the shadows of the past continue to loom over survivors, another battle was unfolding in the courtroom. The legal system became a battleground where victims sought justice and accountability for the harm caused by these medications. One of the most notable cases was the class action lawsuit against the pharmaceutical giant responsible for the drug. Thousands of plaintiffs came forward, sharing harrowing tales of suffering and loss. The case culminated in a landmark settlement, with the company agreeing to pay billions in compensation. Attorney Lisa Caldwell, who represented many of the victims, recalls, "It was a hard-fought battle. These families deserved justice, and we fought to ensure they received it. The settlement, while significant, can never truly compensate for the loss and pain endured." Another key case involved a whistleblower from within the company, who revealed damning internal documents showing that the risks were known, but downplayed. This revelation led to criminal charges against several executives, and further bolstered the victims' claims. Legal experts highlight that these cases set important precedents for holding pharmaceutical companies accountable. "These settlements and verdicts send a clear message," says legal analyst John Harris. "Corporations must prioritize patient safety over profits, or they will face severe consequences." While the courtroom victories brought some measure of justice, they also served as a stark reminder of the need for rigorous oversight and ethical practices within the industry. The legal battles may have ended, but the fight for safer medications continues. As we reflect on these legal triumphs, it becomes evident that advocacy and vigilance are crucial in preventing future tragedies. The courage of those who stood up in court not only brought justice to the victims, but also paved the way for a more accountable pharmaceutical landscape. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that matter. While the courtroom battles were a significant step towards justice, another crucial aspect in this saga lies in the role of regulatory agencies. These organizations, tasked with ensuring the safety and efficacy of medications, found themselves under intense scrutiny. The initial approval of the harmful drugs raised questions about the thoroughness and transparency of the drug approval process. Critics argue that the regulatory agencies either overlooked or underestimated the potential risks, leading to widespread suffering and loss. In response to the crisis, these agencies conducted internal reviews and implemented stricter guidelines for drug approval and monitoring. We recognized the need for change, says Dr. Emily Roberts from a leading regulatory body. Our processes have been significantly overhauled to prevent such tragedies in the future. The crisis also spurred the creation of independent watchdog organizations, dedicated to holding both pharmaceutical companies and regulatory agencies accountable. These groups work tirelessly to ensure that patient safety remains the top priority. Despite these efforts, the journey towards regaining public trust is ongoing. Regulatory agencies now emphasize greater transparency, encouraging public participation in the review process and making clinical trial data more accessible. It's a collective effort, Dr. Roberts adds. We must work together, regulators, industry, and the public, to safeguard health and well-being. This chapter in the medication crisis story underscores the importance of vigilance, accountability, and continuous improvement within regulatory frameworks. The lessons learned are shaping a future where patient safety is paramount. As we continue to navigate the complexities of medical advancements, the role of regulatory agencies remains critical in ensuring that the benefits of new treatments far outweigh the risks. The role of regulatory agencies is undeniably crucial, but equally important are the advancements in medical research that aim to prevent such tragedies from ever happening again. In the wake of past failures, the scientific community has been propelled into a new era of innovation, focusing on patient safety and efficacy more than ever before. Cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning are now being employed to predict potential side effects and interactions much earlier in the drug development process. These technologies analyze vast amounts of data, identifying risks that might have previously gone unnoticed. Dr. Michael Hayes, a leading researcher in pharmacology, explains, "We've made significant strides in using AI to simulate clinical trials, which allows us to foresee adverse effects before they reach human trials. This not only speeds up the process, but also enhances safety." Additionally, the rise of personalized medicine is revolutionizing how treatments are developed and prescribed. By tailoring therapies to an individual's genetic makeup, researchers can minimize the risk of adverse reactions and maximize efficacy. Personalized medicine is a game changer, says Dr. Sarah Lin, a geneticist. It allows us to move away from the one-size-fits-all approach, offering treatments that are specifically designed for each patient. This greatly reduces the chances of harmful side effects. Collaboration between scientists, healthcare providers, and patients is also at an all-time high. Crowdsourcing platforms and patient advocacy groups are playing a pivotal role in gathering real-world data and insights, which feed back into the research cycle, making it more robust and patient-centered. These advancements signify a promising shift towards a future where medical treatments are not only more effective, but also significantly safer. The tragedies of the past have not been in vain. They have catalyzed a wave of innovation that prioritizes human life and well-being. As we look ahead, the commitment to continuous improvement in medical research remains steadfast. The integration of new technologies and collaborative efforts are paving the way for a healthcare landscape where such tragic outcomes are increasingly rare. As we reflect on the journey through the history of pharmaceutical mishaps and advancements, it becomes clear that the lessons learned are both profound and transformative. The tragedies we've discussed are stark reminders of the devastating impact that unchecked ambition and insufficient scrutiny can have on human lives. However, these dark chapters have also ignited a relentless pursuit of improvement and accountability within the healthcare industry. Regulatory agencies have strengthened their oversight, ensuring that safety is never compromised for speed or profit. The scientific community has embraced cutting-edge technologies, revolutionizing the way we develop and test new treatments. Personalized medicine is paving the way for safer, more effective therapies, tailored to the unique genetic profiles of patients. Collaboration and transparency have become the cornerstones of modern medical research. Patient advocacy groups and crowdsourcing platforms are now integral to the research process, providing valuable real-world data that informs safer, more patient-centric innovations. The ongoing efforts to ensure medication safety are a testament to the resilience and dedication of countless individuals and organizations. They have turned past pain into a powerful catalyst for change, striving to build a future where the tragedies we've explored are unlikely to be repeated. As we move forward, let us remain vigilant and committed to upholding the highest standards of safety and efficacy in medical research and treatment. Together, we can honor the memories of those affected by past failures and forge a path toward a healthier, safer world for all. Thank you for joining us on this important journey. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that matter. Comment below with topics you'd like us to cover next.